these eye watches now, glasses, pendants. I don't know how important a phone will be in the future. I don't know.
Well,
Doesn't-
yeah, I think the form factor for the phone will change a lot. Essentially, like to me, it feels like essentially like the important parts of the phone that we care about end up becoming like invisible and like live on multiple different devices, basically.
Yep,
Kind
that's
of,
what I'm thinking too.
yeah, kind of the idea for me is like one of the other things that I like about having the wearables is so one of the things that I like to do, or one of the things that I've sort of been do, or like a topic that's generally interesting to me is personal knowledge management. Um, and I hate the uh, thing where there is a thing that you know you want and it's on the tip of your brain, but you can't remember what it is. So you have to just kind of manually think your brain there until you remember it, or and if you don't, then it's gone. Um, so for me, the reason I like the wearables and the pins is because I can have, like a memory assistant. So I can
Cool.
just
Yeah.
ask, like, what is this thing that I'm thinking of? Go through my history and find it. And then the kind of the reason that I like the wearable is because in order to do that, what I need to do is basically always be recording, and oftentimes that's normal for me, but I might forget to tell somebody else that like, hey, I have a little thing that is listening to all my things that I'm doing. So like if you're around me, it's going to pick up on that. It all stays local, but like just so you know. Um, but and then having a little pendant that has like a green or a red light on it that says like recording, not recording is something I don't have to think about that tells other people, oh, like I am being recorded right now. So that's sort of one of the helpful parts for me as well.
It really is. I haven't even thought about that, right? Because I don't have the humane pin or so, right? I'm not using them. I mean, I would have tested it, but I'm just not paying $800. So I just want to wait until cheaper versions come out. I wanted to get the tab from Avi, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just iOS compatible and I just don't have an iPhone, so I'm
Open
Android. So
source, yeah, the
open
one.
source, that's why I'm super interested in what you have to. I think I want to, I was thinking about building something myself, you know what I mean? Trying to, but
Absolutely.
if someone else already did it, I don't have to waste my time with that. But I was really thinking about building a little gadget myself that I just use my personal little gadget that
You
that I,
absolutely should, because
yeah,
not only is the software open source, the hardware blueprints are too. So
that's
if you
so
want, you can
cool.
order a kit from them and they've got a whole bunch in the
Gosh,
backlog
yes.
and can ship it out to you. But you can also just look at what it takes to build it and put it together yourself. You just order the stuff
Mhm.
online and put it together, or change anything about it. And then after you change it,
Exactly.
update the blueprint. One of the things that they just were working on, let me grab the link here, is yeah, there's like a weekend hackathon the other day, and they just like took some glasses and like taped a camera to it and shoved a Raspberry Pi in there, and then now they have kind of the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, except instead of $300, they're $20, and you can make them yourself. And when you're making them yourself, you can also do anything you want to the hardware or the software in them, and you can also have AI assist you with that, which is um, I think for me much more compelling than like waiting for Rabbit to release the next version. I can just like go check what happened on Wednesday and like who's working on what, and like go look at their Git commits and stuff and see if anything's inspiring me. Where's the link here? Yeah, okay. I'm not sure if you are currently talking, Sharon. If you are, I can't hear you.
Yes,
Yes.
I can hear you, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I'll drop down and come back up here. One sec.
Yeah, excited.
Hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I'll drop down and come
Yeah,
back up.
drop
Give
down,
me
come
one
back
sec.
up.
Yeah, excited.
Okay.
Hey, Alex.
Okay. Well, friends, hey, SocialFi, a new concept. I mean, I don't know how late I am to the party, but I thought it would be interesting to talk about it, right? What is it? And also, I'm thinking, I think I want to go in the direction, what is wrong with social media today? Because, all these solutions that are coming out in web3, they're trying to solve a problem. They're trying to solve something that we can't solve right now. So that's kind of how I'm thinking. And I think that's where we can kind of go. So if any of you, have any thoughts on this, what's wrong with social media today? I would love for you guys to come up and just have a chat with us. Yeah, it's just important to explore all these things and just ensure or just figure out if they're really useful or a waste of time. SocialFi is basically social media connected to finance, I would say, just like basic. And
I guess so, yeah.
yeah, right. I'm thinking, and I've seen it a lot lately on Twitter. I don't know if there are things out there that, yeah, probably, but I haven't really researched anything. So I just thought we might just want to talk about it. Our traditional social media, what's going on at the moment, and yeah, what SocialFi could do for us. I'm not sure. Is Rumble? I'm not even sure. I think one of these platforms do have tokens integrated. I think they're on the blockchain. I don't know if any of you know anything about that for Passion. I'm not sure. Rumble?
I mean,
I'm
I
Hmm.
suppose I would suppose that I mean two things. Once the glasses, well, headsets, whatever you call it, um, will
You're talking
happen
about the
to
wearables
be.
now, right? You're talking about the wearables
I
now, right?
mean, wearables. Look, I mean, okay. I mean, um, once it all happens to be more and more accessible to everybody, and especially those devices which are, uh, so big um, to serve, for instance, like crypto wallets or something like that. I mean, first knowing that people know what's the crypto world, because I mean, why for instance, uh, I mean, ask people the term social DeFi or social fi. eighty
You know what?
percent of
Yeah, go
so
go ahead, finish. Sorry about that. Finish.
no problem. 80% of population will not know about neither crypto wallets, no crypto, right? So that's the thing,
That's
in
why
my
we're coming
opinion.
together. That's why we're coming together.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in my opinion, um once those things will happen more, more accessible. It will not change, because it all depends on people, on
Of course.
society, and
Yep.
on the knowledge, basically, because once once people will want to be educated more, will not be scared of it. Well, it will go any forward,
Yeah. Yeah,
uh
true.
it all depends on, well, I'm very much excited about yeah, we're probably talking about different things than the headsets, glasses, but I'm very much excited about glasses, because, for instance, on a wearables like smartwatches, you probably cannot do same things like on the headsets, right? Because it's too
Yeah,
small.
probably. Sorry, my
Um,
dog in the background is speaking.
but I'm very much excited. I'm actually very much excited about everything of it, because
Yep.
I would say on smart glasses, sorry, on smart watches, you can do different things. They're not glasses, right?
True.
They're not. And as you were saying, my opinion is that my opinion is that mobile phones will still be in the in the usage, because there will still be people who I think who will not want to use any smart things, right?
Yeah, probably.
And will not want it. And so companies who produce smartphones will will still keep have profits from it, right? So I think mobile phones will still be in usage, maybe in different versions,
Yeah,
maybe a bit moderate or something. But I
for
think
passion.
that
I'm so, for passion. I'm so sorry to break you off. I just don't want to. I just don't want to go too far with the wearables. I think we might need to do a separate space on that. I just want to get into the social fi because I don't have that much time. I have to pick up my son, so I can. I have to do a
sorry.
hard stop on an hour. I'm just so sorry, but it's a very interesting discussion. We need to have it, and I think we can do another space on it. You know, I just found Noster. See, that's one of those social networks. Where I'm not sure. I mean, it's probably there's all. I don't know. Does anyone use Noster? Because that seems to be the best example now for social fi.
I am
Anyone
somewhat
use it?
familiar. Yeah.
No? Does anyone know about it?
Oh, where's my? There it
Again, the name,
is.
please.
Nostr, Nostr.
Oh. Hmm.
Probably
It's a
not.
protocol that enables global, decentralized, and censorship-resistant social media. And I'm on the site now. I mean, I haven't. I
Hmm. Well, I suppose.
Probably Jack Dorsey probably has written something about it.
yes,
But
exactly.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, I'm familiar with Nostr to some degree, I suppose.
I've heard of Nostr, but I can't speak intelligently about it besides Jack Dorsey's backing, but there are several other platforms I could speak to.
Yeah, go ahead, share.
Yeah, well, Sharon, thank you for always for just getting the Web3 community together here. So you proposed earlier, an excellent question. So what's wrong with social media? What's wrong with the Web2 version of social media? And one thing I love about Web3 is the idea. I'm sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can
Oh,
hear you.
apologize.
yes,
Okay, yeah. So basically, self-custody of data. Currently, let's use Facebook as an example. All the data, account information, the friends you create through Facebook, Meta owns all your data. So if you want to access your data and use their services, you basically have to ask Facebook permission to access that. Whereas with Web3 and the new social media protocols being built on Web3, you are actually able to self custody your own data. So, for example, one example is the social graph. So, in Web3, the social graph, the content you create, the friends you make, actually follow you across the different social media protocols on Web3. A couple popular platforms right now. I'm not sure if everyone's heard about Farcaster. Farcaster developers created a very innovative concept called Farcaster frames, where individuals could actually build experiences in their posts. So imagine if you were able to go onto Twitter and create an experience with each tweet. So for some example of Farcaster frames, people can do things as simple as allowing you to play a game of chess through a tweet, do a poll, or even buy Girl Scout cookies. So a lot of e-commerce applications are actually going to come from these Farcaster frames that are, really in their infancy right now. I mean, we can't imagine how these are going to evolve in the next decade. And also, Lens Protocol is another one to look into. So I would say Farcaster, Lens Protocol, Nostr, which I still really need to dive into that deeply. Personally, yesterday, we just migrated to a platform called paragraph.xyz.
Interesting.
So it's basically Web3 publishing, Substack features for Web3. So the newsletters and blog posts you create are actually NFTs that people can collect. So you can build communities around them. You can. What's really innovative about the Web3 publishing is that it has like almost like Patreon features just natively built into these applications, because you can token gate things, create memberships, just basically by people collecting your blog posts. And you can, what's really interesting about paragraph.xyz is, in addition to sending your newsletter via traditional email, you could also send it to people's digital wallets, because digital wallets are a way for individuals to send actually emails. So you could send messages directly to other people's with their digital wallet address. So yeah, again, no idea how this technology is going to evolve in the next decade, but it's really exciting that people can finally own their data.
I think that's one of the most important pieces. And also what you were saying now, I put all the things that you just mentioned, I put it down in the chat. So if anyone wants to check it out, go ahead. I have Master, not Lens Protocol, I'll put that in a moment, and Farcaster. That's super interesting. I also find, besides that, what's very important, right? That we own our data, that we can move our data around the way we wish to, right? And share with whom we want to. That's a big thing. First, last week, I put a post out. It was about a wind chime, and they blocked my post, right? And said that it was harmful. Now, I wrote to X, to whoever reads it. I don't know if it's the algorithm, whatever. And they just blocked it. They said, no, it's still harmful. So, those are really issues. I don't know if anyone else has experienced anything like that, but this was the first time that I have went through something like that. And I must say, this is really ridiculous, because they didn't even take the time. I don't know who, maybe they don't have a human to look at that to really say, well, this is not harmful. This is a wind chime. So,
And
those are things that we have to,
could you imagine if you were deplatformed for that post? So all the
exactly.
friends you collected, all the content you created regarding win posts, that's lost forever in the ether. Whereas if you own that data, if you own your social graph, you just go somewhere else, or it's permanently there. So you
Yeah,
bring an excellent point.
exactly. And I had a couple of friends that had their accounts locked for over a week. Now, just think about this, people. If you are a content creator that is monetized and you are making money, right? You have to pay your bills, and they just lock you out of your account because you did a post that they didn't like. And if you think about my example, who knows what that post was about? Does it necessarily have to be harmful? Because my post certainly wasn't. And I want to be honest, after that post, I had a feeling that I was deboosted. My tweets didn't really get that much reach. It took me probably 1.5 weeks to get back on track with my tweets. So people were not seeing my tweets. And if you're a monetized content creator that has to make a living, this is a no-go. This is awful. And this could it could wreck you completely. I have people on YouTube that were talking about similar things, that YouTube just went around and said, well, you know what? We have a feeling that you are scamming. We have a feeling that you're artificially trying to influence your videos that you get more views, and we are going to lock those videos. You're not allowed to, people are not allowed to see them anymore. This is crazy. These people are putting hard work. They are working 24/7 to create content for their people, and then they're just being blocked because of some stupid reason. It doesn't necessarily always have to be harmful. And I do understand this. If it's harmful, and if you're really putting out hate or pornography or some things that could harm your community, of course, these people should be punished for that. But in my example, it was a wind chime. So these are things that I find very important, because we're going to have more people moving into the digital realm that want to make money as a content creator, and we need to be very cautious where
So
we, Go ahead, Shaheen.
Yeah, sorry. So Sharon, this is terrible. I'm really just shocked. But you know, all those kind of tweets or sites you mentioned, they're all going on without being blocked. But something like a chime gets that kind of reaction from the algorithm. But was
Gonna
it
do this
because
one.
of, do you think it was because of what they're doing recently because of engagement farming, or no, it was just like that was the explanation? It's harmful, that's it. And how did
Yeah,
you unlock it?
yeah. I had to delete the post. They did not allow me to post it. So what I had to do is change the whole thing. And then 2 days later, I just posted it, and I didn't write anything. I don't know if my wording wasn't correct, but the problem here is that there's no human that with common sense looks at it and says, well, this is not harmful at all. You know what I mean? That's kind of the issue. And I know it's probably hard. I don't know how many millions or billions of people are on social media. I think that's not that easy to have humans do that kind of work, right? But at the end of the day, I just don't want to be in that place. I think it's scary. You know, if someone has, like I said, making money off of this and is a slave or is dependent on how the algorithm reacts to the posts, that's scary because people could just lose everything, you know, and it's it's just not okay. And I think that, you know, SocialFi could, you know, offer a solution to that. There are definitely probably there, I mean, nothing is perfect in our world, right? So with SocialFi, of course, there are also downsides connected to it. If you think about free speech, I mean, there are people that will put out awful stuff that you do not want to be affiliated with. So I'm not sure if SocialFi has something in place to make sure that everything just stays, you know, what's the word? That it just isn't harmful. You know what I mean? Because there are people that put a lot of crap out there, and I don't want to see that stuff. On the other hand, we just have to think about it maybe this way. Everybody might have the right to do what they want, but how far can they go with, you know, I think that's it's an interesting discussion to have. Um, I truly believe that we need things in place that just supports our free speech and just a place where we own our data and where we can move whichever way we want because it's going to be more efficient. For me as a content creator, I'm on numerous platforms. So I can't just connect all these platforms together as one and then I put out one post. I mean, there are scheduling apps that are super expensive, but it's like, what if I want to be more efficient with my work? Why do I have to be on 10 platforms? Why can I not be on one and just share my stuff with the world from one place? Does that make sense? I'm not sure
Definitely can do that.
if these social fi apps, if they can do anything, and but I think so. I guess that it will be able to help us in that way, that we can just become more efficient and just protect our data. I'm not sure if Yikes, are you still here?
I am not,
I'm
but
not
I
sure
can't
he
say
is.
anything. Yeah.
He left the realm. He is somewhere in the ether.
No, I was here. I don't know. I'm gonna refresh the page and see what happens, I guess.
Stuff, right? So yeah, I don't even get it. Like it's a lot of these like social media apps are like black boxes in a way. They've become a part of our infrastructure in a sense. So it's like it would be tough for the engineers in the back end too to also kind of like figure out exactly what's going on too. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's super strange. It's
Like
super
if even
strange.
if you got somebody on X, like to help you troubleshoot that, and just there's like
I love this
other.
platform. Elon's amazing.
Yeah, that's just weird. There's like there's like bigger issues on this platform that like I just try not to rubberneck too much, but I ended up doing it anyway because I'm a human. But yeah, I try to keep my I don't have any content up here. Okay, like I just repost everything. I don't really have any content up here. Yeah, I kind of like repost according to whatever my interests are, which are just like tech and ag and anything that is in between. So, or if it has to do with my own personal self, it's because I'm a human being, right? So, and this is not a business profile. This is just like a, I would say, industry plant profile. Like I also mean it by the pun, So, anyways,
Why do you not post more things? What's the reason for that?
that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to create or post things. I'm here for I came here for the news, I guess, and like updates in the tech industry, So
I mean, yeah, that's fully valid,
yeah,
right?
like
Of
I'm
course,
not
if you,
I'm
yeah.
not much of a creator, So it's I've done it in my past, but it's just like not my cup of tea anymore, right?
So you're just more here to just consume the tech news and see what's going on. I mean, that's fully valid. I mean,
Yeah,
not everyone is, yeah.
connect with people and like try to like it's I haven't just figure out like different ways to like figure
Right.
yeah just different ways to use this thing, right? Because like does Facebook have this? Facebook doesn't have this. I've tried a Clubhouse and that didn't really work out. Where is Clubhouse right now? It's nothing. It's like it's this is the next best thing, and we have to that. The next level up is like a Zoom, but you can't. That's like a different type of a tech, like so. I kind of I like what X is trying to do overall, but it's just going to take a lot of work. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool experience. Pun intended.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, I'm on this app a lot, right? This is my main place. But still, there are still some issues that, where I'm not sure if they will be solved. I have a feeling it's going to stay that way when it comes to, what happened to me, for example. I don't think that that's going to change. I don't think it's going to get better. I have a feeling it'll probably get worse because I don't know. I have absolutely no idea with the algorithms and how that all works. I have absolutely no clue. But all I know.
They have the manpower for that. It's they got rid of a lot of
But
people.
we're not.
And
But we're not supposed to know those things. I mean, like, sorry.
I feel like a lot of the stuff that does go viral and all that is just like people in the back end who've got like like marketing people, like it's just like the lady with the I don't know if you remember the lady with the who went crazy on the plane, who said that person is not real or whatever it is. Ended up that person was a marketing lady, like it's just like I kind of like it kind of made sense that why that would go kind of viral too, and she knew what to say to get people's reaction and whatever and whatnot. I thought that was kind of hilarious too, but it's just a lot of these like viral things seem pretty engineered to me now. It's just I don't know, maybe you're just looking too much into it.
Yeah, I mean, could be for sure. I'm just, I'm thinking what is it, what would make us want to move to a social fi network? What would make us want to go and do Web3? I think what he's not here anymore, but what the first gentleman was saying, our data, right? The data that we put out is actually ours. And at the moment, I mean, I have no trouble with, you can send X a request that you want to download all of your data, and it works quite well. I never had any trouble with that. But still, at the end of the day, you have to ask. You know what I mean? It's not yours. They will either say yes or they'll say no. Anytime I don't know if there's a law in place that will make them so that they can't do that. But at the end of the day, I don't like that. What I also don't like is that I'm on numerous platforms and it's making it super hard for me as a content creator to be efficient. Of course, I can get third-party apps to help me with that, right? Schedule and then stream it across different platforms. But it's just all kind of, I think we can do better than that. And that's where where I have a feeling, I might be wrong, that Web3, blockchain and these social fi networks can definitely help us here. I'm not sure. So Yikes is our technical guy here, but he has problems with with the app. I mean, X is just wonderful. I mean, we have thousands of spaces beside this one, so I'm fascinated that this stuff even works, But yeah, I don't know if anyone wants to speak on that. What are your thoughts? What do you think about that? Of course, if you're not a content creator and you don't really put content out, you might not care. But there are so many people that are making a living and just trying to survive as a content creator. And I think that would really help us a lot to navigate this content creation digital world. I think this would be great. There are problems, of course. I mean, even Noster, I mean, no one's really, it was out there for a week or two and then it just got lost in the ether. No one was talking about it anymore. I still see some accounts that have this long code thing in their, in their account, in their profile. But no one's really using it. I don't know. No one's really using it. So I think that's also a huge thing, this adapting to it, right? Because we're just so used to these traditional ways and we kind of just like, okay, my post has been blocked or I've been blocked out of my account for 7 days. I have a lot of people that have been through that and they just accept it. And I don't think that that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why maybe they're not getting as much. Also, it's like people are just like tired of like the whole like shadow banning or like getting blocked or this whatever nonsense on like social media. So maybe they're just like, it's just people are just done with social media. I don't know. I'm just maintaining whatever accounts that I already have, and it's like I just do not want to get into another one. It's like I've got like I don't know, like I will talk a bit on this one, and then there's another one that I have like total like it's just nothing but tech news. All right, it's nothing personal there, So if I really want to focus on that, I'll go check out on that one. It's just like I think a lot of the times there's people are just like tired of like social media sometimes. I don't know. So and they've got like other better things to do now. It's just like why would it's like a lot of us have like kids now. So it's like and they're growing up. So it's like it's just they'd rather be with their kids and stuff. So.
Yeah.
But Abe, some of us, I really enjoy the social media and I really like X, and some people are actually making their living out of this. I think that's the important part here. I mean, we're trying to resolve those kind of issues.
Yeah. As we move, I think, metaverse, all this stuff coming out, people are going to be they're going to be more connected to the digital world. I mean, when it comes to content creation, I mean, children are even being taught to become content creators. I mean, this is a serious thing. I mean, people are making a lot of money with this. It's not like this is, years ago, people would laugh, oh, I'm a YouTuber, and people would be like, yeah, what the heck are you talking about? What kind of bullshit is that? But people are making a lot of money with this, and if you see what's going on with AI and everybody kind of like scared that their job is going to be taken, I mean, these are alternatives, right? Being a content creator, right? Sharing whatever topic you're passionate about with the world. I think it's a fantastic thing. And it's highly creative. I know it's digital, but I love it. And I just don't want to be a slave to an algorithm, right? That tells me what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. And I do understand there should be rules in place. You can't just post crap and, and be misleading, the misinformation, the disinformation. That's a real thing. People are really manipulating people with fake news, and that's just not so cool. But at the end of the day, I do believe if we can take over more responsibility, that also that problem could be solved better, that we become more, critical about the content that we consume. I can imagine that Web3 can just give us that, and just help us become more critical with the way we consume and the way we share data with one another. Because
Cool.
the blockchain, nothing is ever lost. It's going to stay there forever. And I do believe that some people might think twice before they hit send, So it's a super interesting concept in my opinion. And I do think that it makes sense to explore it, right? And just think about it. What's going on now? Is it okay the way it's going? And how could we maybe change it? We're very comfortable, right? It's just super easy. You go on Twitter, you log in, and you create your account, and then you're there. I don't know how easy it will be in the Web3 space. I mean, we're still in research development phase. We're not quite there yet, and I personally believe that it's probably going to take a while until we change our mindset and look for alternatives. I mean, what happened during COVID just wasn't cool. People were silenced just for bringing out facts. Of course, there was a lot of crap out there, but to be honest, there were a lot of people that were just speaking facts. And I do believe that it's not okay to silence these people. We want to know everything, and so that we can make a decision, so that we can think critically about it. Because if you only have one point of view, how are you going, how is that going to work? And that's the fear that I have with traditional social media. I was looking at my For You page this morning, and maybe it was my fault. I don't know. Maybe I looked at a post too long, but I don't have any people that are really deep connected to political stuff. I couldn't care less about it. But my whole For You page was just full of Biden, Trump, transsexual. It was crazy. And I'm like, what's wrong here? What did I do wrong that I get that kind of information fed to me? And I do believe that maybe, Web3 can help us out here to get it more, also with advertisement and everything. I find it crazy, and if you're using this platform to gather news and to learn about what's going on in the world, I think we have to, have a more, it's not neutral ground, but a better, I'm not a fan of these algorithms, to be honest. And they serve good things, but I'm just not a fan of that, because it's just not fitting to what I want to see on X, for example, as I was looking this morning.
I
It's
try not to
crazy.
get political on this account, but I do have a couple other ones. I do have another couple other ones where I will get political on that one, and I will only get political on that one. Like, I won't get.
Wise.
Yeah, if you goat me into a conversation on this one, it's like I'll say something and then shut up. Anyways, I think kind of like how that kind of works is too is like if there's somebody following you and they're commenting on like
It's all
something that is
algorithms at the end
controversial,
of the day, baby.
whether it's political or like sexual or what have you, they'll it might get boosted to
Criticism
your
for
spot.
Devin.
And if
I
you
do
click
want
on
to see
it,
what he's doing.
or
I
if
know
you
we're
interact
working on
with
that
it
right now,
enough,
but
then
probably some
you'll see
feedback
more
I'll
of that
provide.
on your page. And if they engage with more of that content, it'll be more evident on your For You thing. And I've seen that recently, so it's like
Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? So that
yeah,
just
yeah, it
that
is.
just
It's like
yeah.
it's like that's why I try not to like post anything that's like basically like what's on my page. It's like I'm not gonna.
Hmm.
It's not that I'm afraid that I'll get deplatformed or something. I just feel like I kind of maybe I figured out how this thing is working. Maybe not. Maybe I'm speaking out of my butt. Most likely, yeah. But it's just like I try to stick with a theme. If that makes any sense, and try to be my own self.
Yeah, of course. And I think there needs to be, yeah,
Let's see. Refresh the page, leave the space, join back up.
and the algorithm was telling me it's harmful, and I'm getting marked for that. That was just wild to me, you know, and I was like, I really started to think, okay, this might, you know, be a one-time thing, but what if it happens again? Right? What if it happens when you know, when you're sitting, I mean, I'm not dependent on what I'm doing now, but at some point I probably will be. And that's just where it becomes very interesting. If you are a content creator making money and then you have run into issues like that, they could kick you off of the platform and you're never welcomed again. I mean, look what happened to Trump. I'm not a fan. I really don't care. I couldn't care less about politics, but this is just an example, right? They just threw him off of the platform. You're gone, right? You said too much, goodbye. And that's just something that's scary because that can happen to everybody. And just because it has never happened to you, it doesn't mean that you will never be affected. And who knows what's going to happen in the future. I like where Elon is going, but do I really know if he's honest with all of these things? Do I really know that? I don't know this person personally. I don't know what's in his head and what his thoughts are, where he wants to go with X. Everybody's quite happy now, but you know, who knows? It can change. You're just not, it's not you controlling your stuff. It's them. And that's where I have a problem.
Yeah, I'm here for the meaningful connections, not the I'm here for the memes too, but I I'm sticking around for the meaningful connections, and the memes are, you know, it's like kind of like the, yeah, it's keeping me around, definitely, you know? So that's what I'm here for.
Yeah. And yeah, I just also, you know, I mean, it's wonderful, these spaces and all of that. And I do have a feeling it is true, you know, we're getting access to good information here for sure. And I'm just, you know, I just hope, um, that it stays that way. You know, like I said, it can change anytime because you're just not controlling it. And that's where I just think Web3 can help us out. And I'm not saying that Web3 is going to be perfect, right? There are going to be many problems connected to that too, because think about, you know, how are you going to connect if everybody use their own, because you're going to need some type of wallet, right? You're going to, because finance, right? You will be able to make money, right? People will be able to pay you to read your content. They will, I mean, they can tip you here on X too, but it's really like you have the possibility to add all of those like sell stuff. I mean, Instagram is doing that too. You have a shop integrated. So if you're a creator and you have any physical products that you want to sell, you can do that on Instagram. You can't do it here at the moment. So I'm thinking about having a place where all of these things are possible, would make it way easier for us to interact with one another, you know? I think that's definitely an interesting thing. Let's have a really one and all app. And I know that X wants to go there. They want to integrate crypto. They're probably thinking about, you know, adding these possibilities that you can actually buy stuff from others. But it would just be super cool to have that, right? To just have a one place for all, and having control over your data, having control over, you know, how you share your stuff, with whom you share it. That I don't have that possibility at the moment here on this platform. And we're just used to it. We don't know anything else. That's clear. We don't know anything else. So that's why we're probably very comfortable with the way it is right now. But I have a feeling that we should think a little bit outside of the box, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we always need options. It's yeah, I don't know if there's a next other one outside of this one, like spaces. I'm trying to find one that's not, what do you call it? I just said it. Clubhouse. There we go. Yeah, Clubhouse. Because they changed the format of how they communicate on there too. It's not the same from what it used to be when they started, when it was a first out as a startup. So yeah, I'm not sure anymore.
Oh wow. Oh, is it gonna let me back on? We'll see.
Your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, um, we started a different place, and now we're going to more philosophical aspect of it. My I don't know. It's their platform. They do whatever they want, and it's always been clear. I mean, we know this from the Facebook time. He came out very clearly. He said, "It's my platform. You don't have to be here if you don't want to." And that's what it is. That will never change. I don't know how much of the input we create on the databases is ours. I mean, you remember when we were talking about when the AI was opened up, and we were talking about the copyright issues for artists, which is the most important thing for me personally. We realized that when we started asking the question, we realized that we don't own it. Whatever the AI, somebody else's machine is creating something, they own it, even though it hasn't been challenged. They own it, but it's their platform. We're going into their platform. We're forced to to whatever regulations they have set up. I think what we can do is continue talking about it, like the example that you started with today, and make sure we amplify the voice that we like this platform. Let's say, for example, we're talking about X, that we like this platform. I really enjoy all my conversations in the spaces, which is mostly in Persian. I like being here. I like using it. I like the people I meet. I have found a way for myself to keep a clean timeline. I don't interact with things that I don't like. I found my way around it to keep myself safe, and yeah, I don't think we will ever resolve it. It's an evolution. I hope, like you do, that X is a better place. With the promises that's been made, I haven't seen much of it being realized. I mean, something as simple as a wind chime, can create a block.
Yep.
But I think we just keep going on and try to um, to help it change by being involved in it, like me and you were doing. We're involved. We're making tweets. We're making other stuff. We're interacting with people. We're doing the spaces, and at the same time, we're keeping our criticism very sharp and not backing up from it.
Yeah, that's important. But imagine a world, and that's possible in Web3, where you make the rules and where you trust and not, where you don't trust and verify. You know what I mean? That's just,
Well, that's actually when you were talking about it, that you want to own but what I understand from Web3, I mean, the reason that they're saying that the digital currency is safe because everything's live and everybody can see it. If everybody can see everything, then how is that? I mean, how am I owning that data? That part I really don't understand when you
I
said at the
think
beginning.
PS, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, I can
Oh,
hear you.
okay, I'm back. Back from my vacation, I guess. Just just as a little fun fact, um, yes, transactions are posted to a public blockchain. There are also blockchains that are designed to fit the need that you have there, Shaheen, where I want to transact, but I don't want everybody to know exactly what I'm doing all the time. Um, so you just got to hop over there, do those transactions over there, and then come back to whatever chain it is you're operating on normally.
Okay, so can you? Okay, I think I understand when it comes to the currency, and I think I understand. I'm not sure,
Sure.
but let's say I create a video, or I create a yeah, let's say video,
Okay.
and I use cryptocurrency to enter into a community in Web3. Then what? Then how is it that, I mean, what I create has to be on some kind of platform. It has to be on a website, or it has to be from my hard drive or somewhere. But when it comes and enters there, then what happens?
Well, the question is, what is the it that is coming there and entering there? So I heard you say, like, so I've created a video, and then we also have a Web3 community that you are part of. How are those two things connecting to each other? Are you uploading that
Well,
video to the
I
Web3
don't know.
community?
From my understanding of Web3 is that if I want to be in Web3, I have to be in a community first.
Let me think. So what you can do is like be part of a community, and that community can have a token, and that, let's say that community wants people to make videos. So if you post videos to your YouTube channel, they have some way to detect that, and then they send you tokens. The things that are recorded on the blockchain are the transfer of those tokens. So things that are not recorded on the blockchain are that video being on YouTube. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense the way you say it, but I'm not sure I comprehend it.
Okay. Is there something in particular that's like unclear about it? I guess like the question kind of is like, what does being part of Web3 mean? And so like essentially the kind of, I guess, like maybe core concepts that kind of help is that when people say Web3, oftentimes they talk about like networks or protocols that operate on a blockchain, and things happen on that blockchain that are public or not public or whatever. They also may be talking about other technologies. So like Web3 is sort of an umbrella term that includes blockchains and tokens and public and private transactions, but it's not limited to just that. So you might have people that are just interested in crypto and talking about it on Twitter, and like have a Twitter community, and they just enjoy, they consider themselves part of the Web3 ecosystem, but that nothing that they are doing in their community is like directly interfacing with like the blockchain itself, other than they all happen to own like tokens or NFTs or whatever, and they like them and they talk about them. So hoping that maybe some of that makes things a little more clear. But if you have more questions, I'm happy to see if I can elucidate.
Thank you.
You know what I also think that I think we can just take this whole social media, this experience, what the gentleman at the beginning was saying, a little bit further. I think we're not really aware of the possibilities that we could have, moving into this new realm of Web3. I think there's so many things that we can explore, that will just change the way we interact with one another. You know what I mean? So I think we're kind of, with all this Web3, we're kind of challenged to just think a little bit further than where we are today. Does that make sense?
I think it does a little bit, and then like maybe something to I'm kind of like thinking of like, okay, what did I miss in my previous explanation? So that the one of the things that like there are things that you can exchange on the blockchain that's part of that kind of like record that everyone's keeping, and those things can be tokens, and the point of buying those tokens can be to sell them to someone else for more money than you paid for them. But there is also lots of other things that that kind of blockchain, or you can sort of basically think of it as like a database. There are lots of other things that blockchain can keep track of, or turn into, or can represent essentially. So if I have a like a piece of data, or like an application, or really anything that I do on a computer, I could put sort of like a random thingy onto a blockchain and say, hey, there is only going to be as many of these random thingies as there are like I don't know, installations of this application, and then I'll kind of set something up where it's like, hey, everyone periodically double check that there are only as many applications as there are these thingies, and then you will get you know, we'll reward you with some side tokens, thingy 2 token for doing a good job of keeping track of that. So there's like the sort of the thing that that blockchain enables is sort of taking something that is digital, that's normally kind of like hard to keep track of, or hard to turn into a like a market or a commodity, and you can they let you do that essentially. This the way I sort of like to think about it is like, it's hard to encourage people to do good things and discourage them from doing bad things. And one way to solve a problem like that is to set up some sort of blockchain with an incentive structure that rewards people for doing the good thing, and the in opposite of rewards people for punishes people for doing the bad thing essentially. And they do that with like the way that they represent value and move it around on that receipt essentially.
Yeah, that reward system. I think that's super interesting. So you're kind of you're raising. Sometimes I'm losing these English words, and then I only have the German word. Oh my gosh, that's so awful. That's one downside when you speak more than one language. You're just all mixed up. But I mean, that's a way better system than what we have, you know. And the thing is that we have more control over that system than where we stand today. You know, like I said, that example of my post being blocked, and that's just ridiculous, right? And if you have like a governance system, you know, where they just, I don't know, I think it would be way more efficient for us if we had a place where we control it more, and where we have our rules set in place and everybody knows what these rules are, right? At the moment on X, I have absolutely no idea. And we have Alex Finn, right, that is also a engineer or a developer or a coder that is trying to encode all of these things for us, because we don't know. Why are we being deboosted? For what? What are we allowed to post? I mean, everybody knows we're not allowed to post, you know, naked stuff, but people do it and it seems to work. I don't know. But I mean, we kind of know, but we don't know. And that's where I think Web3 can really, you know, just make it more easy for us to understand what's actually going on, right, in the world that we're moving in and interacting with.
Yeah, I think for social, kind of some good like problems that exist when you have like a centralized location versus ones that decentralizing that information can kind of solve is the like the deplatforming thing. So if we have like a sort of neutral ground place where we all have some sort of say in like what stays there and what is like not supposed to stay there. It gives you a little more kind of influence over what is, you know, when you make a post, like what happens to it. And I think Sharon mentioned it earlier, where another kind of strength is that sort of a portability, where normally, like, if my tweets are on Twitter, they're only on Twitter, and that's where Elon keeps them. And then maybe like another person sort of like writes something to clone Twitter, and then it's also there, which is cool. But what can be useful is to say, hey, like, this is the way that we store tweets, and we are going to write all of these tweets to this list of tweets. And if you ever want to read them, this is the way that you read them, and you can display them however you want. And that's kind of how Farcaster works. And then sort of other utilities might have sort of a different way, or a way that builds on top of that, or is an alternative to that that's better at different things. Like Lens Protocol, for instance, is a lot better at, or of course, speaking not from experience here, so I may be entirely wrong, but my understanding with Lens is that one of the things that they sort of excel at is taking content like a tweet or something that you make as a creator, and sort of turning all those into the little objects, and then letting those objects connect to each other, so you can, like, oh, hey, you know, if you read my last 10 blog posts, I can keep track of that, and then like keep track of you, so I can sort of like give you additional rewards or whatever, and sort of breaks things up more easily. Whereas Farcaster is more oriented around kind of like the neutral ground, uncensorable kind of stuff, and not as focused on the monetization angle. And yeah, and then the other thing that I think is useful, and it's sort of I think kind of the line gets a little blurry, where you can have like a social network, or what we think of as a social media, and then there's a thing that oftentimes kind of seems separate, which is like the Web3 concept of a DAO, which I don't know if everyone has heard of that term, but it stands for a decentralized autonomous organization, which is basically sort of a group of people that are trying to organize in some way. They're trying to like make decisions as a group, and there isn't one central body that says this decision has been made and this is the rule we are all going to follow. So hence the decentralized autonomous organization is kind of how that works. And then there are interesting things that you can do with that sort of orient around encouraging people to go do things together, which is one of the purposes that I feel like the ideal social network probably serves, which is like, hey, we're all on here talking, let's talk about cool, interesting things that you know, are helpful to talk about, and you can kind of sort of build on some of these Web3 concept like DAOs to say like, hey, like, we made a social network, and the way, like, the rules for the kind of content that goes on it, or how the algorithm works or something, for instance, is like these kind of posts that get promoted are the ones that get promoted, because we all decided that those are the kinds that we want on our platform together, kind of thing. So there's some sort of like interesting little features or opportunities that you get when you take something out of this one location and sort of spread it around, so everybody can make decisions about it. I think are kind of the value props when it comes to SocialFi, at least in my opinion, I guess.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That would definitely be a good place to be, because it's then the people, right? We the people. I mean, that's just that's how it should be, but it's not we the people, it's them. And we just have to follow the rules, right? If we like it or not. We have absolutely no control over it. We have absolute no, Elon is not asking any of us what we like. he seems to be listening to his people, which is great, right? The people that are on the app, he does interact with many of the people on the app, which I really like. And that's the good thing about X, and I think that's why we all love X. But try to talk to Zuck, for example. It's not going to happen, right?
If
So,
X was a
And
DAO,
you
I
never-
would be voting to fix these Twitter spaces. This is infuriating.
yeah, he doesn't really hear that. I don't know why. Maybe he doesn't have the manpower, just doesn't want to. I don't know. That's definitely a good question. But if you have a place where you can really go in and you're part of it, you're right. It's just, I think those are wonderful ideas, and we're just not used to that, right? We're not used to that. We follow rules if we like them or not. We just have to follow them. But being in a place where you can actually make decisions too, and that would be, I think that's a beautiful thing. But we're just not used to it, so it's very unfamiliar to us.
Yeah, it's definitely a kind of an interesting way to make it, like, in theory, we live in a democracy, and or maybe some of us do, some of us don't. And the idea is that we are like voting for things we care about, and then a lot of us have had experiences with that of varying quality. So it's interesting to kind of be able to sort of turn whatever small collection of people that are interested in a particular thing into a democracy oriented around like this particular thing that they're interested in. Which is sort of like something that you can't really do without a blockchain serving as the neutral ground for people to work together on.
Well, it's just going to become the new medium eventually. Because I think it's just going to take something like generational for everyone to kind of like adopt it in the same way Facebook was pretty generational too. It's like it was an entire generation of like college kids who just blindly signed up for Facebook, So
Where did I do my... Oh, it's because I minimized the terminal rip. Yeah, and I think partially generational, and I think there's a good like I think it'll take a little bit more tech, or like one of the like I'm sort of interested in this sort of vision of the future where it's like, I don't care whether this is web 2 or web 3 or which blockchain it's on or which token it runs on. I just like, I'm getting the thingy, like I'm turning on my Netflix and watching my show, and like everything, all of the cool, interesting stuff that's being enabled by the sort of blockchain stuff is like sort of at my fingertips to go do cool stuff at, as opposed to like me, fiddling with chains and making sure I have the right wallet and yada yada yada. But I think on the tech side we are getting fairly close to that sort of, or like all the pieces are there now. It's a matter of putting them together and then refining them, and then once we kind of have that a little more like rock solid, and what I'm thinking is like sort of in the, as we get these kind of societal shifts that we're probably going to get now that we all have personal robots that can do all sorts of stuff all the time and never get bored of doing it. Yeah, I think sort of like it'll start occurring to folks that like, hey, maybe this is like a good way to solve this problem. Is sort of, I guess, like how I'm thinking things will go, although I try not to think how things will go these days because, 2 months from now as GPT-5 comes out and every prediction I've ever tried to make gets turned immediately on its head, but such as it is, it's 2024, I guess.
I'm right here with you, brother. Right here.
Yep.
crazy. I tell you, it's really crazy. Yeah, but I think as we let's put it this way, this AI is kind of forcing us to put even more data out, right? So I think these are just very important, thoughts and discussions to have. The more data is out, well, what are we going to do with all that data? And how are we going to manage it and spread it? And I think, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Yikes. The more we move in that direction, I think the more people are going to ask those questions. Also, with it, now think about this, all of these social media apps are putting out AI, right? And integrating it into the apps. And you're like, do I even want that? I don't know if I want it, right? Or let's put it this way, I want to be able to have more transparency. Why? What does it do? And all of that. And that's also something to think about, right? Because at the moment, you don't have that much control over that either. It's going to be super interesting where we're going to be moving. I mean, these dating apps, for example, they're also, want to integrate AI. I had a space earlier today where you can find your perfect match, right? You have your AI and your AI meets with the other AI of your potential partner or whoever you're interested in. And that's really highly intimate data that will be put into these AIs. I don't know if I just want that flowing around without me knowing where does it go.
That's a really interesting point because do I want? It's like that's kind of like having an AI, like for your dating or whatever it is also like having a bestie, like try to pick matches for you, or your aunt or your mother or whoever you trust. But if someone does not have that sense of support, maybe the AI can be helpful in some way. It's like yeah, it's just like it could be useful. It's like maybe there's just like people out there who have a support system and they're just like, maybe they just have like some behavioral things, right? Maybe they're autistic or something, right? It's just it's a bit more difficult for the family to help them out. Maybe the AI can help. Who knows? That'd be great.
Probably good way would be to study, so to aim towards the way you would like your future to look like, right?
Yeah, and the whole like tutoring thing too. It's like it's gonna. I think it's just gonna be like a really awesome librarian. That's what my vision for it is. I think it's just gonna be a super awesome librarian. I spent a lot of time in the library as a kid, so I think it's just going to be the best librarian you ever had in your life, and your best tutor, and like your best like I don't know, like teacher, whatever you want to call it, all in one. And you're going to be able to maybe train it, and it'll work with you the way you need it to.
Well, I work in nonprofit, and since OpenAI put those videos out 2 days ago or yesterday or whatever, um, um, I've been thinking about, I deal with a lot of grant writing. I want to find a way I can use the AI, and what's the best AI to help me do grant writing. And and I don't think anybody in that nonprofit world is that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody's doing it, but I don't even know how you go about it or what's the best platform. But I've been thinking about it a lot because that's like the administrative part of my work. All the money comes through the grants, whether it's for foundations or government stuff, and I do this both in Canada and US.
Well, yeah,
For two different organizations. Yeah.
that's how we get
Yes.
our
Yikes.
funding.
Yikes. Help me. Help me.
Yeah. Well, so in Web3, essentially, a large part of how most projects get funded is via grants. If you're kind of interested in the Web3 space in general, there are probably a lot of grant writers that have this sort of technical acumen to really give you a good answer to this. But my question would be, so have you tried using like ChatGPT and or Claude, and like how did they do? And what were they good at and what were they bad at?
No, the thought, I never even thought about it. I mean, I just started thinking, just like yesterday when the OpenAI gave those out. I'm like, maybe ChatGPT maybe I should go get the membership and try it. Yeah. But if you're saying that there are already people doing this, I would really appreciate a connection. But no, I haven't tried any of them yet.
You should look for Kayla Carrillo, or Carrillo. I'm not sure how to say her
Yeah,
right
wasn't
name.
she here the other week?
She was. She was here the other week, and that's what we were speaking about, I think.
Yeah, I would certainly get in touch with her. I think it's just Kayla Carrillo. I don't know how she is in with AI and such.
I'm sorry, it's Cardillo.
Cardillo, got it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how. I know she's in Web3. I don't know, and I know she's in the grant space. I don't know how into AI and such that she is. I presumably yes, considering that she showed up to one of these. Um, but yeah, I guess like the place that I would start, obviously, I encourage anyone who can to use open source stuff whenever is possible. Um, but in terms of getting a baseline for a task, oftentimes for me, it's handy to just like, like chatgpt.com, hey GPT, do this thing and see how it does, basically. I've actually been looking for utilities, I guess, or I've had a couple of problems that I wanted to solve with AI recently that I was sort of going through my list of things to try to solve those problems. But yeah, I think for grant writing in particular, probably what I would want to do or how I might approach that is I would pick kind of whatever model suits me because most of them are mostly the same. And how I would probably tackle the problem is so the places I would go off the top of my head are like the Google AI Studio because they have the Gemini Pro with the 1 million context window, and then Claude as well has a very long context window. Presumably GPT does now too. So yeah, probably what I would do is just I would take a couple of grants that I have written. If I'm conceptualizing that right, if it's like a sort of a document that you prepare. I would take like several examples of that, then I would give it a description like, hey, like I need to write, these documents, or like I need to write this grant for this company or thing or whatever. Give it some examples of grants I've written before. Give it the information about like the company or the laws or rules or whatever that for the one that I need now, and then say like, okay, based on all of this information, can you write me this kind of grant? And then see what it spits out. Like maybe have it give you a couple versions of it, then sort of like look through them, maybe do a little bit of editing, touch things up, and then hopefully have like a grant proposal in hand much faster than I normally otherwise would. But it doesn't necessarily matter exactly which of the tools that you use. It's just sort of like any tool that lets you kind of go through that process would probably work for that. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And yeah, do you think that it would like as I work with it more, it would I mean that's our understanding of AI. It would get better and get to know me and my kind of questions better.
It would depend on what you're using essentially. So like the um probably yeah, so like that would be something on the service provider side that they would have to implement. And for grant writing in particular, it may not really work that way with commercial services. Probably because if you would like it to sort of like keep track of your data and like get to know you, then it has to keep track of your data, which means you have to take this potentially sensitive data and let it all be recorded by whatever service that you are using to kind of go through
That
this
part I'm
process.
okay with, because we're just talking about art organization. Our information is all in open,
Cool.
so I
Yeah.
don't have any problem with that. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have any legal concerns, then yeah, you could like from a user perspective who's looking to purchase a product, that could be something that you're interested in. So like the kinds of if you're looking for like a chat application, like sort of a chat with your docs application, you want one that's sort of like claims to kind of keep track of what you're doing and build a sort of user profile on you. One of the open source versions of this that I kind of like and mean to use more is at memgpt.ai, where it takes a little bit of. I don't think they have a hosted version. I think you got to get into the terminal a little bit to use it. But once you kind of go through the install process, what you end up with is like a chatbot that basically kind of has its own memory and like manages that memory itself. So you can like drop a bunch of docs into the little folder that's full of the things that it's supposed to remember, and then you can like check in on the little text file that says what it your profile and then its profile, and it'll change those little documents over time as it talks to you. Which might be the sort of thing that you're looking for. And it's like open source and free, and you just put in your API keys and you're good to go. So I will, I think I just shared it to the space there.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Information for us. I'm so happy that you're here and that you're my co-host. Yeah, it's really great. I think there's so many possibilities for us out there. We just need to start to explore. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we're holding these spaces, right? Just to inspire people, right? To, it doesn't have to be the way it is now. And especially with AI now, of course, things are changing, right? And we just want to be as efficient as possible and just, understand the whole concept and see what we can do. I know it's a lot. It's just so crazy what's going on right now. But I mean, things are really getting interesting now. And with Web3, AI, all of this stuff, it's all interconnected, if you ask me.
So is anybody implementing this social-fi type of idea, or is this just like brainstorming at this point?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, there's a few protocols. I think we've mentioned Lens and Farcaster a couple of times. Mirror is a good one for blogging. I think somebody mentioned a like publishing site earlier. So there are a few sort of.
Oh, no, I'm
options
sorry.
out
I'm
there.
just I'm just getting confused with
Just get.
social media with like socially, like trying to be like a good person social. I'm sorry. I got confused for a second.
No worries. So like what you're looking for is a social media platform that sort of encourages a particular type of behavior or content or whatever. Or were you talking about that like, hey, let's all agree on how the algorithm works thing that I brought up earlier?
No, I think I just my mind shifted to something else, like a I don't know, like blockchains for like food, you know, like what do you call it? Like it's on the tip of my tongue. Like I'll come back to you.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess like sort of on the topic, there's a lot of uh the
Food
let's
kitchen.
all
Food.
Hmm?
That's what I meant. I'm
Food what?
sorry.
Food waste? Was that what you said?
Food kitchens.
Food kitchens?
Yeah, something like that. I
Like,
was thinking like socially good like type of things, not like social media. I'm sorry.
oh, okay, so like
Yeah.
funding for public goods, are there blockchains that are oriented around that? Is that what you're wondering about? Because the answer is yes. The a lot of it is oriented around digital public goods right now because that's the easiest thing to sort of integrate with a uh, uh, with blockchain because obviously they're largely digital. Actually, let me finish typing this one. But so yeah, public goods is sort of a hot topic in Web3 because traditionally, like, figuring out how to do welfare as a centralized governing body has not been super great. Like, they're not really that good at it. With various opinions aside, I think we can say that, like, occasionally doing it via a central governing body is like not there are necessarily some holes in it. So one of the ways to solve that is to put a bunch of resources together, put a bunch of people who either have lots of those resources or not enough of those resources, and then give them all a way to decide how those resources are going to be allocated. And so the one of the programs that I really like, so I guess let me do that, it is the Optimism Foundation has a program called Retro PGF, which is short for Retractive Public Goods Funding. So if you just go do something that is like valuable to the community but may not necessarily be profitable, you can Optimism holds these periodic retro PGF rounds, and retro PGF is a fund that you can, as somebody who just goes and does something for the public good, you can say, hey, look at this thing I did. I think I should get paid X dollars an hour for doing it. I put in like Y hours into doing it. Can I have this much money? And then the retro PGF is this like the Optimism Foundation either deciding like yes or no, and then the decisions on what does get funded through retro PGF is sort of made by the Optimism DAO, which is sort of like the governing body that everybody can participate in that's interested in this. There's a bunch of other stuff. I think Fund Public Goods.ai, I think, is one of Polyraph's things. Yeah. Here is another one. Okay, so we shared that one. And then this is just one that isn't like particularly big. It's just one that I happen to know of. But almost every blockchain or protocol, if you can think of something that you could build on that blockchain, that you could use their tech in order to do something that's good for people, it's often a very compelling thing to put on a grant application to one of those like blockchain networks. So if you're like, oh, I want to make a thing where people can donate their soup cans to the soup kitchen, and the way that they do that is they go through Polygon, and like we sort of track things there, or we use some sort of like identity thing there, or like there's some part of Polygon's tech where it would be useful for us to use that, and the way that we use it is to get soup cans out to soup kitchens. If you go to Polygon and go, hey, I made this thing, or I would like to make this thing, do you guys have any grants available for people to build stuff like that? Very, very often the answer will be yes. So encourage those of us who are interested in doing, for me, what's particularly interesting is doing open source software development and being able to like pay rent by doing that. I have not thoroughly explored all of my options for doing that, but it is something when I sort of get a little bit more, I guess, like ready to sort of be heading that direction, the first places I will look are the blockchains that I am familiar with in terms of ways to eat food while I build that, basically.
Thank you for it was like a TED space, TED Talk, TEDx I went to a while ago, which is like more than 10 years ago, I would say, and they were just talking about this kind of stuff in the way back then, and it was like completely new then, and I tried to like like make a have a discussion about this with my other finance buddies, and they're like, it's just like kind of like I don't know. It was just like it wasn't very receptive, but because for whatever reason, maybe it was way too in its infancy. So, but I'm glad it's like there's something like this around now. It's great.
Oh gosh, I love all of this. How much time? I'm thinking, gosh, when forget sleep, right? These 8 hours that I usually sleep, I could use them to just do other things. I wish there would be an AI out there that could just sleep for me, but I can do all the fun things. It's just crazy. I mean, what's going on? I mean, all of this stuff happening now, it's just.
It's coming, Sharon. It's coming. Don't worry. Yikes is working on it. Yikes is working on it.
Oh man. Well, friends, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to close the space now because I have to take my kids somewhere. It's been a great conversation.
Sharon, can I say something quick?
Of
Sorry,
course.
sorry. Could somebody please give me direct me the account for that person you were saying about the grant writing? I really appreciate it. If somebody
Yeah.
hears me, could
Yeah,
send me.
in the comments of this thread, I actually just I posted the link for it, and then I added them and asked them if they have any recommendations on on if their product is good for you to use for this use case, and a link to help get you started. So hopefully they will see that and reply. Yeah, it is in the comments of this space, so you should be able to.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Sharon. Love
Yeah,
you.
you're such a pro. I love you too. Yeah, you guys are great. Yeah, it's just wonderful to have you. Yeah, it's been a cool discussion. I mean, we're gonna be back next week. Let's see what we're gonna talk about. I mean, next we can maybe figure out what we want to
Maybe I
talk
will
about.
hopefully remember to reply to your message this time. I got a lot of stuff going on, but
I know you're
absolutely.
busy. I know. It is what it is. It's life. Like I said, I'm looking for an AI that can sleep for me, so you understand where I
Same.
am.
Yeah, well, no, I'm doing the opposite. I'm just writing a bunch of AIs to do all my work for me so I can sleep. So that's the
Folks,
plan.
that's probably a better idea, huh? I think that's the better way to go.
We'll
But I'm
see.
just so
We'll see.
excited. I'm like a little kid. I just want to experience everything, And if I'm sleeping, I'm not experiencing
True.
anything.
Yeah, I probably won't sleep. I'll just go look for more toys to play with, realistically.
That's so awful. This is taking us down a very, 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 very bad place. Oh, I tell you, it's supposed to make us more efficient and give us more back and make us touch grass more, but somehow it's going in the other direction. I have a feeling.
We'll see. Well, thanks for coming,
Okay.
friends. I'll catch you all around next week.
Okay, friends, you guys enjoy your afternoon, your morning, wherever you are on this planet, in this world. Thanks so much for stopping by. It was great having you guys. And all the speakers, thanks so much for adding value. You guys make it possible, make it interesting. So yeah, see you guys soon next week.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Cool. Yeah, let's see. I think I have a work meeting coming up, so I'm probably just gonna shut off the stream, but I may be back later if you happen to be watching it. I am waiting for Devin, so I just let the boys in Discord know that I am still waiting for Devin. So maybe if that gets fixed, we'll see if we can put her through the paces